You feel like a boss, man. You feel like no one can talk to you anymore. Like everything you've been preaching to people that aren't fans of Toronto, like they can't say anything anymore.
This is nice.
Where do I sit? Sit like this? Ooh.
The Raptors come to Oracle Arena, the final game to go on to win their first NBA title. 4 games to do.
I just remember being in the tunnel, waiting for things to happen, it was as if they were gonna win game 5. Like, I was so hyped for that moment, and then there's 3 minutes left on the clock, and the Raptors don't get it done. And I think that was the moment that I was like, oh crap.
We lose, obviously disappointment, right? But then you also have to flip the switch and say, we're still 1 win away from the championship. And so you almost have to turn yourself back. You almost have to make yourself feel like you felt right before game 5, which is hard because you just had a disappointment. But we're still up 3-2.
You know what, throughout the entire playoffs, I got the same feeling that I got after game 5 in the finals. It's all good. Don't worry about it, don't panic, we'll take care of business. No matter what happened, at any point in time, you lose the first game to Orlando, okay, we'll take care of this. You're down 0-2 to Milwaukee. You're in a game 7 with Philly. Whatever the situation was, it didn't matter. These guys just played.
Nobody was rolling into Oracle Arena thinking that they would lie down easily or anything like that. But they were confident, and they had right to be confident, you know, as they played in game 3 and 4 on the road.
So now this is a huge game. You know, oh, you lost to game 5. There's pressure here. You got to win this game. So if your leader, if your best guy, the guy who's been there from day 1, takes care of business, everybody else is going to go, I got this. We're good. And that's exactly the way I felt. As soon as Kyle came out like that, I remember, you know, I was standing, you know, Sam Mitchell's next to me. You know, I just looked over at him and said, we got it.
Curry lets it fly. Canada, the NBA title is yours. The Toronto Raptors are the 2019 NBA champions.
Wow. Very cool. You know, it's funny. I still haven't watched Game 6. So you showed me that video, the last 30 seconds of the game. That's the first time I've watched it. To see that obviously brings a major smile to my face, a feeling of joy, appreciation, because it's really hard. It's very easy to lose, and it's really hard to win. And it's really, 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 really hard to win when you play great teams.
By the 2-minute mark in the 4th quarter, it was like, we know we're gonna win the championship unless something stupid happens. And so that's kind of a different experience, because it's not like, oh, you know, bucket going back. It wasn't back and forth. It was almost like you're trying not to lose now.
Like, I'm looking at the clock on the TV and I'm like, wow, like the Raptors are gonna win. And I see Serge on the court, just like not knowing what to do. Like, I think he put like his hands on his head and like he was just in disbelief. And that was kind of like how I think a lot of the Raptors fans were like. They're going through all the permutations of how the Raptors can possibly not win this. And at that moment, it was like, all right, like there's no more. Like they've won the championship.
Nobody felt like it was really over until Kawhi made that second free throw where, you know, mathematically they couldn't come back. And it took forever. I mean, everybody's like, I'm sure the people here out in the streets were like 10 minutes and we knew we won.
The first guy who comes and congratulates me is no other than one of the classiest guy in the league, Coach Steve Kerr. He said, nah, and this is exactly what he said. He says, Superfan, we lost, but I'm happy for you that you guys won, but I'm happy for you because I've seen you there for 2 decades.
It was absolutely incredible that night. And for me personally, I was doing the radio that night, had the play-by-play. To have that call as a broadcaster, to know that you've got that piece of history and that moment in time that's always going to be there. Selfishly speaking, it was special for me. And then to see that in the locker room too, with the champagne bottles popping and just the sheer joy.
You take a moment and you see all of these people that you spend so much time with over the course of the year, and you've seen how much they've put into this, and you're watching these guys and girls have the moment of their career, and it's pretty touching. And then, you know, Danny Green runs out of the locker room and sprays us all with champagne as we're waiting to get in. That part was fun, but it was really cool to see, you know, those people at the highest moment of their professional lives.
I was on like a high of just amazing championship energy, and there was about 6 of us together, and we started doing these like cute little player tunnels. So anytime we saw a crowd approaching, we'd like get into formation and start a player tunnel, and then people would run through it, and then like it was a lot of fun. Some girl like somersaulted through it, and I was like,
You feel like a boss, man. You feel like no one can talk to you anymore. Like everything you've been preaching to people that aren't fans of Toronto, like they can't say anything anymore. And it was just, we still carry that feeling right now. Like we're going into the next season, everyone's like, oh, your team doesn't have a ring? Oh, couldn't be my squad.
That night will forever live in infamy. In Toronto, at least, man. That was the night. Like that was the night, you know?
Everybody knows that I've never missed a game. I've never been late for a game. I've never left a game early. I have missed my wife's wedding anniversaries. I have missed her birthday so many times, and she has an issue with that during the last 24 years. But I tell you, she's going to have a bigger issue now because I've given away my wedding ring, and this is the only ring I'm going to be carrying. Now I might get kicked out, you know, to the home, but if it's airs and she sees it. But I guess I'm ready for it.
it meant something more to the country than anything, which is insane because it was just a really amazing demonstration of what sport does to people and how, you know, it's such a universal language, and there are a few things that everybody agrees on, but for a moment in time, the entire country was in formation and was cheering for one team. So Toronto was Canada's team.
It hit me when I was covering the championship parade. We saw, you know, what was Jurassic Park. We saw where fans were collective, where they were together and cheering this team, and was coming around that corner. And just this sea of red, purple, the colors, people screaming, just seeing what that little park kind of grew into as everybody was celebrating this moment, something that the team had done. I think that's when it hit me.
Think about the impact of the NBA coming in '95 has changed the game in this country. I mean, that's it. I mean, you can point to a lot of different things. You could pick out individuals, but the game coming to, the NBA coming to Canada in 1995 changed the game, right? This is going to be the next version. We're not going to see the impact of that championship for a little while, but there's going to be an impact. It's going to have a serious impact on the game in this country, and that's, from a day oneer, that's incredible.
I've always told people that this market is a sleeping giant, and the giant has awoken. And as I reflect on the 6 years of the Raptors making the playoffs and then culminating with an NBA title in the 6th year, what an incredible journey. And a lot of twists and turns, a lot of ups and downs. But when you reflect on it now, it's just a remarkable experience.